Hello and welcome to another TNC opposition preview. And I brought in my great friend from the blue and white side of the world, not the blue and white though. It's Brummie Joe. Joe,
hello, mate.
Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. I mean, we've won a game for once, so I'm just in shock still, I think.
Wow. I mean, I am over the moon for you, and I love seeing the celebrations on your channel. I mean, let's talk about that, Joe. That 1-0 win over Wednesday. What a win for your boys, and vital, and especially over Wednesday at that time. It's a massive win for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, if we'd have lost that game, we would have had clear daylight between us and safety. It was such a vital win, a vital game. I was saying before that it was the biggest game of the season. I've probably said it a couple of times this season now, but I think considering the team we were playing and finally having dropped into that bottom three, we had to get out of it before we sort of solidified that position. It was that vital. We even had some of our fans printed off a massive banner and put it outside the training ground, trying to send a message to the Blues fans. Because because obviously we can't really, we're not in the stadiums or anything, so they wanted to get a message of support across to sort of push them on. And even our captain got messages from all the team's family, wives, parents, just to sort of rally them together because it was such a big game. And every little helps, and it seemed to push us over the line. So hopefully the start of something good here. But
brilliant. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's certainly given you a platform to work off. I mean, how did you perform in that game? Because you stayed in the game really well. Were you defensively more kind of switched on, or was it just that touch of class to put the goal in, or how do you see that performance?
I think it was a mix of things, but the main thing being for us, the thing that has been our real Achilles heel this season has been it's just simple stuff. It's basic errors. You know what I mean? We've seemed to be pretty solid, but I think its mentality is very fragile at the minute. So we go ahead, we panic. We go behind, we panic. And it's these little errors that we had to cut out, and we did. There were some things I wasn't happy with. I mean, 1-0 up against 10 men and bringing on, I think it looked like 6 at the back at one point. It's not what you want to see, really. And I was just stressing because I thought we're just asking him to come and equalise. But yeah, again, very, very strange, but we got away with it.
Joe, do you think that game, that result against Sheffield Wednesday, your last game, do you think that was paper over cracks for Karanka?
I think it could be seen as that, yeah. Like I say, a lot of people have sort of switched into the Karanka out camp. Now, it's never great to see, especially a manager with a 3-year contract. There's things I'm thinking, like, who's going to want to come in and take the job? Would it be a short-term fix, and then we end up in the same situation? Most likely. I think I just want us to stay up. I'm not entirely convinced at the minute with Karanka, and especially even during that win, the substitutions were very questionable. But I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and see if we can turn it around, because I feel like shouldn't sack anyone unless you really have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you see the forecasted Opta stats of I think it's worked out on all sorts of goals per game. So I guess you saw that. So for those who haven't seen that, Birmingham are currently forecasted to going down second from bottom. But
they're never right, are they?
What's your reaction to that? And honestly, hand on heart, although you're saying I hope we stay up, do you believe you will stay up?
Genuinely, I think this season has been it's just felt more than ever. Like, we've been battling relegation year after year, it seems, and it feels like this is the one. It's like you can only test that so many times. I just think it would be the thing we've got in our favour is we've got time and we know the situation that we're in. It's whether, if this continues, this decline, when the board will act, when things turn around. Because usually, I feel like it's different this season. We usually have a good start to the season, and that carries us through that torrid second half. But it's in reverse now, so we've sort of got to rely on ourselves, picking ourselves up and really battling. The one reason I think that concerns me is in those times that we've been close to relegation, the one difference has been the fans just switch, get behind the team, and I swear to God, we lift them. We lift them. If you see any of the final games we've had, it's immense. We could be moaning throughout the season because we're frustrated, but as soon as push comes to shove, and you need to get behind them, you can see it, and you can see it in the opposition as well. They're going to be up for a game here today.
Yeah.
That's not there this season. So if it comes to a final day again and they're in an empty stadium with and not even Karanka screaming at him, just screaming in his notebook, where's the drive coming from, Chris?
I guess, Joe, the other difference is, of course, you don't get 6 points off Ipswich every season as well, which was obviously always a banker for Birmingham, wasn't it, when they were in the Championship? So,
mate, them type of games against the teams you expect to be, they're the types we lose. It's Birmingham, isn't it? So that's what might give me some hope against Norwich.
Birmingham are Birmingham, and
you can never rule us out.
We will, exactly. We'll get onto the game just shortly. But before we do that, who should Norwich be worried about? I think last time you mentioned Mr. Hogan. He's now scored, of course, against Wednesday last time out. Who should Norwich fans and players fear against coming up against on Tuesday night? Wednesday night, Tuesday night. When's the game?
Tuesday night. It's tomorrow. Yeah. I think it's been a weird one for Hogan. He signed. He was on loan around this time last year, and before the lockdown, he was absolutely on fire. I know he's someone that knows where the back of the net is, and he's since everything happened and fans haven't been in stadiums, he hasn't quite been the same. But he's slowly got better at adapting to playing up front on his own. That's been the difference. His hold-up plays got better, and he's not a player that will score wonder goals, but he will always be in the right place at the right time, it seems. So if we can deliver it to him, he's scored 3 in his last 4, which for him is good. For us is good because he's sort of starting to emerge as like, okay, we've got some sort of goal scorer now. It's not spread across the whole team. So I would say him. If not, the other areas, I think it's all. I said it last time. It's always our wingers, Sanchez and Bella. They've always got some sort of trick up the sleeve. Great wingers, direct. And the other one I'd say is Halilovic. Hasn't had a lot of game time at the minute, but he's a great player to watch. He's struggled with injury a little bit, but I think he'll get some game time off the bench potentially if we need him to. He gives the ball away and he wants it back immediately. He wants to create things. It's exciting to see.
Well, look, mate, I'll be honest with you. And I don't want to tempt fate. I'm not so worried about your wingers, but I am worried about the aerial presence of Birmingham. Your big shithouses at the back coming up from corner kicks. Are you any good at scoring from corners?
Not really, mate. No. I feel like we should be, and I feel like that's what will eventually end up happening. We've got our Dukes, we've got Cosgrove, who we signed, who's also a big lad up front. Yes, we do have that. Will we go for a physical approach against you? I'm not sure. Probably. The thing is, we had a great game against Sheffield Wednesday and switching it up so dramatically, I can't see it happening. Might be some tweaks. We need Mikel San Jose to stay away from that, but I feel like against you might come in as another physical presence, but he's terrible. He's terrible. He's so slow.
Okay.
And obviously, Clayton got sent off, didn't he, last time against you? And hopefully he's nowhere near the squad this time around.
Okay, well, we will see. Where are the weaknesses for you at the moment? I know that it's been a pretty torrid season, so it's not looking good in quite a few areas. But when you're coming up against players like Timu Pukki, Todd Cantwell, Emi Buendia, not to scare you too much, mate, but is that, where is the main worry for you where you're like, Jesus, we're not ready for that?
Well, I think, I talk a lot about our mentality. I think on paper we've got a good squad, but let's say we do try and go a bit physical against you. We've got Mikel San Jose, who was, amazing in the Spanish leagues, 10 years at Bilbao, absolutely beautiful there. Comes to the Championship just a bit too slow. It's a very demanding league, isn't it? He's played at CDM, he's played at centre-back, and we do often seem to play with a high line. And so the thing I'm worried about is that little bit of you getting us on the counter, maybe trying to draw us in a little bit, or just simply pass through us. But I think if we try and play a high line against you, I can just see it going very wrong.
Well, Mate, you got the tactics right last time, I think, actually, if I'm really honest. Daniel Farker said that you were, in this press conference today, said that you're one of the most, well-organised, units. Yeah, I know. He was doing the manager classic, bigging them up. Really organised sort of thing. But last time you did pack the boys in. It was definitely a low block or sitting deep or parking the bus, however you want to put it. Yeah. And that did seem to work against Norwich. So it'll be interesting to see whether you guys play those tactics.
Well, when was that? Just out of curiosity, when was that?
That game was in October last year, I believe. Was it October?
Yeah,
October last year.
I would say start of the season up to around that time, we were a lot more solid. We were getting 0-0s, clean sheets, less errors. We've actually sort of had a decline. So
sorry to hear
that. Yeah, so I'm not 100% sure. I want to be positive. The one positive thing I would say is that Blues being Blues, you just never know, and it's just, if we can stay mentally strong, we're on the back of a win. Let's keep it tight for the first 15 minutes at least and see what happens.
I love that. Birmingham. That is always the way. And let's quickly, I'm going to quickly ask for your thoughts on Norwich before we talk about this next big game, Joe. But so where do you think the Norwich will finish this season? What have you thought of us recently? And do you think it's automatics for us?
Yeah, I do. I mean, I thought it all season, really. Brentford had a bit of a push recently, haven't they? Swansea had a bit of a push. Brentford have pulled back a little bit, and I think you're going to have this, it's going to fluctuate throughout the season. You might drop out of it, but I think I've got good confidence in you guys finishing in the top two, definitely.
Man, you can come next time we're in the Championship. What do you think? What lineup do you think you'll start against us, mate?
Well, that's a difficult one, and you could ask me any game this season, and it'd be hard to say. It's
same. Will it be the same unchanged side that beat Wednesday?
I don't think it will be. I think a lot of people will be calling for that because it's play the starting 11, but I can sort of see he'll want a bit more physicality against you, and I don't know if that will be a good thing or a bad thing for us. Like I say, San Jose, I feel like he'll play. Hopefully not as centre back. I think it's vitally important that we keep the back four the same, and then it's the question of whether he decides to go back five and mess up the whole system. But yeah, I honestly can't tell you, Chris.
Fair enough, mate. And obviously, you've started to mention it there, pal. Last time we played was in October last year, Carrow Road. We dominated possession. We scored right at the death, and that was through Mario Vrancic to get all 3 points. And of course, Adam Clayton did get sent off in that game. We didn't really properly catch up after that. What were your honest thoughts on that? Like, when you came away from that, were you full of confidence at that point?
After the game?
Yeah. Did you think you'd be all right?
At that point, I wasn't that concerned about us being relegated because I thought it was more start of the season, and this is what sort of worries me. I was like, okay, we're not scoring a lot of goals, but we look fairly solid, and I probably thought that at this point too. And then it's like, okay, the goals are going to come, we'll stay as solid. That's not really been the case. Like I've said before, we've sort of we've been very mentally fragile. Like I said, taking a lead, conceding, go all over the place, errors. So yeah, I think at that point I was probably all right, a lot more all right than I am now.
Hey, mate, you've completely changed from when I last spoke to you. I can see the Birmingham relegation trouble all over you, mate, and I sincerely hope you do stay up and
mate, I should be more positive, I think. But listen, look, like in the grand scheme of things for the season, that was a vital win. And if it is good to think positively. I think coming up against you guys, it's like I think a point against you, like, even would just be, and I think that's definitely what we're going to aim for, trying to frustrate you. If we can get away with a point from you, that's a win. A point starts to, you go into the next game and you're like, okay, well, let's go and win it. So I think it's going to be one of them games. And I think if we just put up a good performance, we don't have any silly errors, we look organised, that'll give him another game.
Okay. So we are getting to that point now where we have to ask you the inevitable question. Obviously, we've had so many, I think, some really, really good football matches over the years, some great battles. Of course, you boys beat us in the playoff final at the Millennium Stadium, very famous win for you. Absolutely awful for Norwich. Norwich have won 25 games in terms of head-to-head. You've won 23 draws. So I'll ask you the same question as I did in October, my friend. What is your head saying in terms of a score prediction, and what is your heart saying?
My head's probably saying it's going to be a tough game, a tight game. It's going to be by the odd goal. I'd probably say a 1-0 defeat with my head.
Okay.
With my heart, I'd say we scrape it out. We are organised and we come away with a point. But I'm not really that confident that that we'll get a win. Let's put it that way. I'll be very happy with a point.
Okay. Interesting thoughts. I think, well, so Norwich have, of course, just played Coventry on that absolute potato field of a pitch of yours.
Terrible.
And I empathise with that, of course, by the way, obviously. But it will factor into the way that we play. We try and keep possession. We try and have it on the floor. We can't do that so much. We beat Coventry 2-0. So that is my score prediction. It's going to be Birmingham 0, Norwich City 2. Mate, thanks so much for coming on today. I really appreciate your time.
No problem, mate. It's good to be on.
Top man. And thank you so much for every single one of you for watching. As always, if you've not subscribed to Talk Norwich City already, what the hell are you doing? Hit the subscribe button. And apart from that, I will see you. Oh, yeah, go and follow Joe as well. That's really important. There you go. Go and follow Joe. And I'll see you. And I'll see you guys all on the watch along. It kicks off at 6:45 tomorrow night. So make sure you are tuned in. And hopefully the next time I see you, lovely lot, will be as we ease to another 3 points. And hopefully the next time I speak to you, Joe, you will be crying yourself to sleep.